Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs show. Happy Thursday afternoon? Is it a Thursday? It is Thursday. It's game day. I don't know why I checked. I could have just asked myself, are we playing today? Yes, it's game day. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the Brighton game happening in about three and a bit hours time. So we're going to talk a little about that game. We're going to be talking also around some peculiar transfers. Quite a sort of large update on potentially Serhou Guirassy and his plans for the German transfer window, as well as some interesting updates on Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg and the interest from the Serie A, but also just and a bit of interest. Actually, no, not interest. Some final information to know that basically, alongside Højbjerg, maybe a few other players might be leaving in January. Plenty to get into, plenty to talk about. Just want to say, if you're new, subscribe. You're very much welcome to join us for the journey. And by the way, I haven't been crying. I've just been having a sneezing fit. And water your eyes. Anyway, more importantly, let's jump in. I'm going to start with Serhou Guirassy. So, obviously we know Guirassy's got the quite cheap release clause. He's just a guy that's, I think, just going to have one of the crazier markets that you'll see in January, because I do expect him to move in January. So, from the Gazzetta dello Sport, they said that Spurs will exercise the 17 million euro release clause to sign Serhou Guirassy. The striker has interest from AC Milan too, but is attracted to playing in the Premier League. So, on Guirassy, we obviously know, yes, Spurs and Milan are interested in him, but also we know about Manchester United, we know about Newcastle. Might be missing some few more people off that list. But look, he's wanted by, I'd probably say, at least one club in each of the top 5 leagues, right? For 17 million euros, so they call it 15 million pounds. I'm struggling to see why not. People will point towards, African Cup of Nations. Guys, we play 3 times in January. It's not like we're playing 16 games. I just think, for me, I don't see him costing big wages. I don't. Right, obviously, he's probably not on massive wages at Stuttgart. He's got scoring a lot of goals this season. He's been one of the better players in the Bundesliga. It's kind of a shame, because in the Bundesliga, obviously, you've got Kane, who's scoring 1 billion goals at the moment. You've got, obviously, Boniface and you've got Guirassy, but those two kind of feel like a step behind Kane, and that's no offence to them. That's just, as we know as Spurs fans, Harry Kane is obviously a fantastic striker, and it's quite hard to keep up with him when a team is 10 players are built around him. He is the thing that finishes off all their attacking moves. So their team, but the Bayern team are designed to play for Kane. So when we look at the fact he's doing this at Stuttgart, which is not, it's a big club in Germany, it is. But when you go, can you name me a few German teams? People normally go Munich, Dortmund, Leverkusen. That's normally the main 3, and that's no dig to any other German team. In Germany it might be completely different. Someone might go 1860 Munich and crazier teams like that. It depends on who you ask here in England. If you ask, can you name me three teams in England? If you ask someone up north, they might go Stoke City. I'm just saying Stoke City. You know what I mean? So for me, 17 million euros is a drop in the ocean when it comes to football transfers nowadays. I just think, if it doesn't work out, he's not going to be on crazy money. You're still going to give him more than 6 months anyway. Low risk, high reward. Anyway, let's talk. I'm going to be a bit different. I'm going to talk Ivan Perisic. So we know Perisic obviously out for pretty much the season, near enough the season. He'll probably be back right at the end, ahead of the international tournament. But we've talked about how Hajduk Split very much interested in bringing in Perisic even in January, regardless of injury, because they want him in-house, invaluable knowledge, one of Croatia's greatest ever players, And, it was quoted from the manager of Hajduk Split through Mislav Karaglan. Oh, what a name. And he says on Ivan Perisic, I don't know how his recovery is going after the injury. The only thing I can say from my side is that I'd like to have him in the dressing room whenever possible. So that's the thing, I can see him going in January and Spurs kind of going, look, if you want to go, we're going to let you go. Because at the end of the day, it'd be nice to use his roster spot or squad spot for someone else. Let's be frank, we've not really had him this season. Obviously I know we had a small selection, but we've not really had him this season. And do you know what? The more I think about it, he would have been fantastic this season. There's games where we could have used him at left back. There's games. I mean, I'll tell you what. You think of this: if you play him as a fullback, that inverted fullback, Ivan Perisic, he would have been all right. I think. Yeah, he would have been pretty good in this system. He could have played numbers. He could have played in the midfield, play on the wing. Perisic would have probably played about 5 or 6 different positions, and I'm all for it. It's just a shame how this season went for him. But hopefully, he is back for the summer, because I'd love to watch him for Croatia this summer. Love it. And I always love watching him play for Croatia. You want to talk about big games and players stepping up. Ivan bloody Perisic. Let's talk about this really, really interesting bit of news from Football Insider. And they said that Tottenham have told Eric Dier, Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg and Hugo Lloris that they can leave in January. Now, the key part, Dier and Lloris will be allowed to depart for free. Good. I think with Lloris, they'll probably kind of go, hey, get yourself sorted. You tell us where we're going. We'll sign it all off. How about it? That's that kind of respect to give Lloris. Get yourself a club. Come on. Get yourself a club. We'll sign it off. We're not going to stand in any way. We're not going to demand any fees. We're going to do right by you because you've done right by us. With Dier, I think they'll probably just loan Dier out, to be honest, because I think Dier probably has a bit more of a market, obviously due to his age and everything. I think they'll loan Dier out, to be honest. And again, when you talk about squad spots, it frees up squad spots. With the Reece being the number 3 keeper, it gives you opportunity to bring in someone else to the number 3 keeper spot. When you talk about Eric Dier, you talk about maybe Phillips moves up the order a little bit, Dorrington moves up the order a little bit, or he goes, Jean-Claire Todibo comes in, for goodness sake. Sorry. The more I think about it, the more nervous I'm getting. It may potentially have an issue of going ahead, just because I think Ratcliffe's pretty much done and in with Manchester United. And then, let's talk one more bit around actually Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg before I speak up that game quickly. So it came from Mirko Di Natale. You know me, I love a good name. And it said that Tottenham have opened up to a loan obligation. Loan with obligation formula for Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg to leave for a sum of less than 30 million euros. Juve have always been in the market for Højbjerg, and there have already been contacts with intermediaries between September and October to let him leave. Spurs will have to look for a replacement. So, nothing there. I think it's shocking. I've always said that Spurs will probably do a loan with an obligation, money freed up into the summer. I just don't see how this... I just don't see where's the market of teams that are going to spend the money on him. I think it looks like Calvin Phillips and Newcastle might be something that might be happening. That in turn will free up Juventus to go for Højbjerg. Again, we've always talked about Højbjerg is someone that's needed by Juventus, but and also Spurs and Juventus do good business. They don't stiff each other. You think Bentancur we got for less than 20 million euros. Kulusevski, obviously got cheaper. When in the summer, they could have asked us for the full price of the deal, but actually they said, no, we'll do a bit of deal, we'll save you a few quids, Obviously, Perisic being there, obviously we have a good relationship with Juventus anyway. I can see a deal being done for about 25 million euros in total, Yeah, maybe you might get a bit more elsewhere, but to be honest, what's an extra couple of quids, But let's speak about the game tonight. Look, it is a team of... it is a game of two teams that if they put together their injured 11, it might be a title challenging 11. Pop my ear. But when you look at the team, you think we've got 2 centre-halves sticking out, right? They've got Estupinian at left-back, who had a fantastic season last year when fit. Well, you look at into the midfield, obviously Bentancur, Bissouma and Maddison. And in an attack, they're missing a Dringer. I always muck it up. I always have to get my mate who tells me how to say it. A Dingra, I think is what it's pronounced. Metoma, obviously, in Cisco. There's a lot of players missing in that team that you could sit there and go, that's up there with the title challenging team. Yeah, just need a keeper really. That's it. Just need a keeper, and then we're good to go. But no, all things considered, look, it's going to be, for a neutral, hell of a game, because we've not got a defence and they leak goals. So I'm going to sit here and say that there's going to be goals. I think that's a fair thing to say. It's a fair shout to say. Both teams played decent football. Obviously, Ange was linked to the Brighton job before De Zerbi went in there as well. So obviously, Brighton fans are very much aware of what Ange was about before he even came to Spurs. We've still got some really key good players out there. I mean, look, Desi Adogi's back. You've still got Porro. You've still got your Papa Matasar, your Kulusevskis, Richarlison, Sons. Obviously, Sons still got this game and the next one before he goes off to international duty. So we still got him for the 31st game against Bournemouth. But when you look at where I think Spurs might get a bit more creative, it does look like Davies and Emerson will be your centre halves. And that's kind of what the rumours came out from this morning. We'll obviously wait and see till kickoff. I'm in an R in, does he go Højbjerg, Sarr, Kulu, Johnson out on the right, Sonny out on the left, Richie through the centre? Because that three has worked. It has. And Kulu has worked in the centre. Or does he go gun-ho and go, right, Sarr, you're playing in the 6, because he can. Gio's playing on one side, and Kulu's still playing in the centre. Because Gio can put his foot in, Gio can defend, Gio's got an engine on him. I was thinking about it, because Jamie Weir, I don't know if you know, Jamie Weir's a Sky Sports News reporter, presenter, whatever you might want to call him. He's a Spurs fan, and he was talking about a team, and he was thinking, and a lot of people were talking back to him and saying, well, could he play Lo Celso and Kulu together? And the more I thought about it, the more I went, in years past with Poch, Nuno, Conte, Mourinho, Mason, you and me in charge, we've always been, we've got to have hold him mid, you've got to have a guy that can really defend next to him, and there you go, there's the attacker role and everything. But with Ange, we know Ange doesn't care. Ange will go, I want boys that can get on the ball, and I want to see him technical. Now, Sarr can defend. I'm not worried about Sarr's defence, not at all. I'm not even worried by Gio's defence. I was just umming and ahhing thinking, he can't change that front three when actually in the last game against Everton, they were good for spells, but they quietened off as the game went by. He's not going to drop Richie because he's been in goal scoring form. Son's the captain. If he moves Gio into the centre, does Kulu get dropped and Johnson stay on, or does Johnson get dropped and Kulu stay on? I can see Skip getting dropped, to be honest. So if it's a case that Skip's, if Kulu stays there, the front three stay at the front three, I think you have Sarr staying in the number 8 role, and I think you have Højbjerg sitting in the 6. But for me, I wouldn't be opposed to saying Sarr at 6, Gio as the sort of 8 that's box to box, Kulu sort of that 8 to 10 attacking role. Because I think when we played Everton, Gio came on and was really crucial because he was the guy that can get on the ball. He was dribbling past people. He was sticking a foot in as well, but he was also dictating the play, which had probably allowed us to hold off just that little bit towards the end. Now, in terms of my prediction, I've said all day 2-2, to be honest. I think they will score goals. As a team that maybe aren't the most prolific, well, when you've got 4 fullbacks playing in defence, I think you might score a goal or 2. And again, for us, they leak goals on the other end. And I think, we will score goals because we have no issue scoring goals. At the moment, it's an issue just keeping them out. But then there's also an issue, can we just stay fit? We're missing our 3 best midfielders, our 2 centre-halves. Some of our attacking options of Solomon and Perisic, our backup left-back. We're missing a lot. So are they. I don't think you're going to sit here and say there's an excuse for either team. I think both teams are just as knackered as one another. Just made the best team win or draw, which I've gone for. But anyway, guys, at the end of the video, I hope you did enjoy it. Drop a like on the video if you did. Hit me in the comment section. Your thoughts, feelings about today's game. I'm happy to hear what you think. But obviously, not only that, you've got the Perisic, Dier, Højbjerg, Lloris, Guirassy news. I want to know everything. But anyway, guys, at the end of the video, I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.